Have you ever thought about how we're all related?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Hello, gods and goddesses. I'm Alectrona, goddess of the sun.
And I'm Cassandra, and I'm a prophetess, and we're going to be talking about Greek mythology.
Now, many other gods and goddesses are more directly related to one another, but we're linked together because of one god.
That's right, Apollo.
He's the worst. For those who do not know, I was in love with Apollo, but the love was unrequited.
And he's the god that cursed me with no one believing my prophecies.
But it's okay. It's all good. We're all just one happy dysfunctional family. That's all.
Anyways, let's look back in ancient times and focus on the background of our goddesses. I am not a goddess, I am a prophetess, and I was cursed by Apollo, who gave me the gift of foretelling the future, and then tried to sleep with me. However, I rejected him, and to punish me, he cursed me so that no one would ever believe my prophecies.
Well, I'm a goddess, but there's not much known about me because I'm an early Greek goddess. All I know is that my dad is Helios, I'm the goddess of the sun and possibly the morning, and I was in love with Apollo.
Do you think we're still relevant in today's modern world?
Yeah, do think that we're still relevant because the powers we possess are still being used in movies and TV shows. The concept of having these mythical powers never really gets old. For example, the concept of being able to control the sun is used in the movie Star Wars The Force Awakens, with Starkiller Base being powered by the sun. While it's not a single person in control of the sun, it's used on a massive scale and almost godlike level.
Good point. While it may not be about gods and goddesses anymore, people are certainly still interested in our powers. Well, my goddess, Cassandra, is closely related to Raven from That's So Raven. Do you remember that show?
Yeah.
Yeah, she has psychic powers like I do. She isn't particularly cursed, but many of the plots in the show revolve around her only getting snippets of the future, not the entire future.
So, I think it's reasonable for us to conclude that while we may not be directly tied with these new TV shows and movies, they still use the same concept of having supreme control over something and the consequences that come from that.
So we are still relevant in this world because people are still interested in our stories. But added with some of today's modern world, what do you call that?
Pizzazz. Yep, I agree.
Hey, I've been wanting to ask, as you know, we're Greek goddesses, but have you heard anything about other gods in other cultures that kind of sound like you?
Yeah, actually, there are fewer sun goddesses and more lunar goddesses, and I think it represents the power shift represented in myths and sun deities. There is, however, the Roman goddess Aurora. Have you heard of her?
She sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah, okay, so she's like not the goddess of the sun, but the dawn goddess.
Oh.
Yeah, so she's not the proper sun goddess, which again points to the difference in powers among genders.
Interesting.
Anyways, so Aurora is the personification of the light of day, and her energy represents the new hope that each day brings.
She already has more of a background story than you do.
I know, exactly. Anyways, she does fit into the femme fatale character archetype. This archetype represents the seductress or enchantress who manipulates men for sex, status, or money. The complete lack of emotional involvement with their victim results in the symbolic killing or getting rid of her lover when he has served his purpose. And Aurora fits this archetype with her relentless pursuit of young men. Although she wants her lover to live forever, when she fails to specify as an immortal, he ages and she gets bored and transforms him into a grasshopper.
Something similar I noticed in between you two is that your love interests are a major part of your story.
Yeah, both of us don't really follow the hero cycle, but our love interests are a big part of who we are identified as. Anyways, moving on. Hey, I heard Cassandra was mentioned in the Harry Potter series. How cool.
Yeah, in the Harry Potter series, Professor Trelawney's first name is Cassandra, a reference to me. Professor Trelawney taught a class on fortune telling, and everyone else ignored her prophecies because they were often ridiculous.
Cassandra is often alluded to in text as a person who continually predicts misfortune and is never believed. The character is often related to dramatic irony because no one will believe them, despite speaking the truth. In literature, the allusion to Cassandra is most often identified with prophecy, a loss of favor within authority, and bad news.
Yeah, so I think my myth is credited for originating that idea of no one believing someone despite them telling the entire truth.
All right, well, I think it's time for us to start wrapping things up.
Hey, I have a joke. Have you seen the movies about Greek mythology? No? Well, then you ought to see them.
That wasn't funny.
You laughed. It's funny.
Anyways, thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you enjoyed hearing us talk about our relevance in today's world and how we compare to other goddesses.
And texts that allude to us.
Yes, thank you, and we'll see y'all next time.